This work is by Dermot Seymour. It is called Arise Great Zimbabwe, which I don't fully understand the title, but the work itself, Dermot painted this in 1984, and it's quite a realistic looking painting. I think at the time Dermot was working on the idea that the cows were the silent observers in fields whenever the troubles were happening. So you actually have the cow here, and in the background you have a helicopter, and then you have a man standing with Kentucky Fried box up against a graffiti wall. The thing about this is that it sort of stands out because it's a slightly unique style. It's in the style of photorealism, and I think it's one of the unique paintings of that period of time because, I mean, everybody that sort of looks at it tries to read into it. Why is he holding the Kentucky Fried Chicken box? What's the cow? What's the helicopter and stuff like that? And I think anything that really is a great piece of artwork is, the artist gives you 50% and you have to bring the rest yourself. This work is by John Aiken. It's called Blue Pool. It's 1988. This work seems to have everybody baffled, and it sort of had me slightly confused at the start whenever I looked at it until Liam actually started telling me and explaining the reasoning behind it. I think it really, the piece is, you sort of look at it and it's an abstracted sculpture, and you sort of wonder why it's in an exhibition of the Troubles, but whenever you go a wee bit closer into it, it's really about opposing forces. I think this work was based on John's travelled over to Rome. I think he was a Rome scholar, and he was interested in how certain civilizations after a period of time build on top of sacred ground. So a church would be destroyed, and then another church would be built on top of it. So the piece at the top has to do with the marble, which obviously has that sort of church quality to it, the actual materials that were used in churches, and the triangle underneath is really sort of the man-made construction over the top of it. So it's really about two opposing forces. This work's by Charles Oakley. It's via Ulster, and it was painted in 1971. This is a work that I didn't really know too much about, and it really has some, undertones of, a burial. I mean, it's basically like a glass case in front of a gravestone, and obviously within inside the case it looks like a broken statue, roses and stuff like that, so it obviously has to do a lot with remembrance, and the feeling that you get off it is that there's it has real dark, solemn undertones to it, and I think a lot of people who sort of look at it do feel that, and I think again it's a painting that people do stand and look at and wonder what exactly is going on. This work is by Conor McFeely. It's called Disclaimer, and I think it was made in 1994 for the Orchard Gallery. This was commissioned by Liam Kelly, who was the co-curator of the exhibition. This work has a lot of people baffled about what exactly it is, and I think that's one of the strengths of the piece. I think this work deals with a punishment beaten, and it looks like bags of tar on the ground or hoods, and on the wall you have a number of baseball bats covered in what the bags on the ground is made, and then in the background you have a take on a Frank Stella painting. Conor wanted to deal with how abstract painting was always taken out of context, and he wanted to pull it back in, but this piece I think is one of the strongest pieces of the exhibition because when people come in, I think a lot of installation work that wasn't collected a lot during the period of the time actually has a significant presence to it, and I think that this really can represent a lot of the work related to the Troubles because it's actually you have to deal with it, you have to walk around with it. This work is by Ona Walker called Surveiller, and it was made in 2004. This work deals with the period of time from 1968 up to 1998, and it directly deals with any exhibition and arts-related activities during that period of time. So you can actually see, if you go through the years, and each thing has the exhibition, the artist's name and the date, So when you sort of go through it, you can actually read it as when there was a lot more art activities happened during a certain period of time, which is sort of interesting when you sort of look at it. For it starts some of the years, or there's quite a more content and more activities obviously happened, and then some years like say 1974, there was quite well, there wasn't a lot of things happening, so you sort of get you to question what was happening during 1974 and what was happening during 1973, which has nearly double the amount, and it sort of makes you want to sort of you go into it and you say, well, why have certain years had more activities in it? So purely from like an art history background, it's a great piece to show you what was happening during that time.